The confession. A conversation between guilt and justice. You know, people often think that crime and punishment are two separate worlds. One ruled by guilt, the other by law. But sometimes, they meet. And when they do, the result isn't justice, it's revelation. I'm about to tell you a story that I once witnessed. A story that changed the way I look at crime, forgiveness, and humanity itself. It happened in London, the Central Criminal Court, known to many as the Old Bailey. A place where justice is supposed to be blind. But on that day, justice opened her eyes. It was a gray winter morning. The courtroom smelled of polished wood and paper. Reporters filled the back seats, the murmur of voices faded as the bailiff announced. Case number 3849, The Crown vs. Daniel Cross. Daniel Cross, a name that had been on every newspaper for weeks. 32 years old, former Marine, now standing trial for armed robbery and the death of a store clerk. And the man presiding over the case was Judge Michael Turner. A man known for his discipline, composure, and zero tolerance for excuses. As Daniel was led in, he looked more like a ghost than a man. Sunken eyes, trembling hands, wearing the same gray prison uniform he'd worn for months. The judge looked at him calmly and asked, "Mr. Cross, do you understand the charges brought against you?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, Your Honor." "And how do you plead?" Daniel hesitated. His voice cracked. "Guilty, Your Honor, but, please, I need to speak." The courtroom froze. Even the judge frowned slightly. "This is a sentencing hearing, Mr. Cross. What do you want to say?" Daniel looked up, eyes red, but steady. "I just want you to hear why." He took a deep breath. "I joined the Marines at 19. Served in Afghanistan. When I came home, everything looked the same, but I didn't. I couldn't sleep. The sounds, the memories, they followed me everywhere." He clenched his fists, voice trembling. "I tried to find work. Tried to live a normal life. But PTSD doesn't care about normal. I lost my job, my home, then my wife. She took our daughter and left." The room was silent now. Even the reporters had put their pens down. Daniel continued. "That night, the night of the crime, I hadn't eaten in 2 days. I went to that store just to steal food. I didn't even have a gun at first. It was a fake, a toy from a trash bin. But when the clerk saw it, he panicked, reached under the counter. And I thought he was going for a real weapon." He paused, tears welling up. "I don't remember pulling the trigger. I just remember the sound." He looked down at his trembling hands. "I killed a man who was only trying to protect his store. I deserve whatever punishment you give me, but please. I wanted you to know, I wasn't trying to live. I was just trying to stop dying." Judge Turner stared at him for a long time. He had sentenced dozens of criminals, thieves, killers, fraudsters. But none had spoken like this. Then, softly, he asked, "Do you know the name of the man you killed?" Daniel nodded. "Yes. His name was Thomas Avery." The judge took a deep breath. "Thomas Avery was my nephew." The courtroom gasped. Even Daniel froze, his mouth half open, unable to breathe. "I didn't know," Daniel whispered. "Oh my God. I didn't know." Judge Turner's voice was firm, but low. "I know you didn't. That's what makes this harder." For a long minute, the room was still. Two men sitting across from each other, both broken by the same bullet. The judge finally spoke. "Mr. Cross, for 10 years I've worn this robe believing that justice meant retribution. That punishing the guilty was the only way to honor the innocent. But today, I see something else." He removed his glasses, rubbing his eyes. "I see a man who's already been punished, by his own conscience." Daniel looked up, tears running down his cheeks. "I would trade my life for his if I could." "I believe you," the judge said quietly. "But belief doesn't erase consequences. the law must still do its duty. He picked up his pen and wrote. Daniel Cross, the judge said. You have confessed to a crime that took an innocent life. Under normal circumstances, your sentence would be life imprisonment. He paused, his voice softer now. But your record of service, your mental health, and your sincere remorse cannot be ignored. You will serve 15 years, with eligibility for parole in 10. A whisper ran through the courtroom. Some called it mercy. Others called it madness. But only the two men in that room knew what it truly was. Closure. As Daniel was led away, he stopped and turned. Your Honor, he said softly. I can't ask for forgiveness, but thank you for listening. Judge Turner didn't respond. He just nodded, because words would never be enough. Later that evening, when the courtroom was empty, Judge Turner sat alone at his desk. The rain outside London streets tapped gently on the window. He opened an old family photo, Thomas, smiling with his parents, and whispered, maybe today, we both found a little peace. He closed the file labeled State vs. Daniel Cross. And for the first time in years, he didn't feel like a judge. He felt human again. You see, sometimes justice isn't about punishment. It's about understanding. The world is full of people who made the wrong choice, for the right reason. And though the law may punish them, only forgiveness can truly set them free. Because behind every crime, there's a story. And sometimes, that story tells us more about ourselves than we want to hear.